Week 7, here's another week. How we ended up this way. God, that's so abrupt. You really weren't even looking, bitch?
I did. I saw it.
No, I was
So-
on there.
If
You
you're
were
just
on
tuning
there.
in, it's me, Jeffrey. Kelly's off tonight, and for the first time in week 7, Kristen was in the damn.
She didn't even notice.
Didn't even notice because I just you said I wasn't there.
Well,
Right, well, I wasn't going to tell you. It was going to be a surprise.
Sorry, I was looking up.
and it was the nice one that you sent with your hair that's all just recently red.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's pink.
So, for those of you just turning in, that lady's voice you hear, if you're listening, is Kristen. And then alongside of me, next to me tonight, I have Mr. Dana. How you doing?
I'm delightful. How are you?
I'm pretty in pink. And then below me tonight, Mr. Brian, BC Shutter. You got the honor. How you going, B?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Child. Kids, this is the first live show we've done since news broke. And tomorrow we have another special where just the women take over Uncensored Radio.
As they should.
Yes, and actually the cast intertwined. It's Vera, Katie, Dakota, and Kristen.
Intertwined, you say?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it was this Kristen from this show.
Was that on like fans?
Treasures?
Is
They
that
all
from?
did it together, and they talked about Roe v. Wade.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the new OnlyFans page.
No, honey, that's for us. The boys are going to be doing
Yeah.
that. So Dana, you better get ready to rock out with your cock out.
You've got more rights than I do, so you get to do that.
Yes. It's in support of women, Dana.
I don't want all my rights. I'll give you mine. I'll sign a note.
You'll sign a note. You're so crazy. So I
Don't
know
use
if
them
you guys
anyway.
Saw over the weekend one of Peach Blossom's right-hand ladies had a little something to say, and of course I didn't pull the clip because I'm a genius like that.
Mary?
But
Miss Mary?
Sarah Hucklebee's Sanders said, I don't know if you saw this or not, but she said we're going to keep children as safe in the womb as they are in the classroom. And I don't know about you.
That means you could shoot them?
But when I heard that, I almost had a stroke.
But did we also hear about how Mary, during her speech in Illinois for Trump's rally, that, today was a victory for the whites in America?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Who said this now?
Mary Willis? I want to say her name is Willis.
Ugh.
She's the representative for.
She was a blonde-haired lady.
Yeah, for the state of Illinois, I think.
It doesn't surprise me. It absolutely does not surprise me. I mean, this is the goal, right? And it's very fascinating to me that there's particular people just on our Facebook page, right? We post articles on there. Women in particular that were very much against trans people and their rights. And now that are very upset about this decision. And it's kind of like, well, that's
Mary
how this
Miller.
starts. We're taking away people's rights. And this is going to continue. And then we have people like, Clarence, who now wants to revisit the gays and the gay relationships. It's just the beginning of this. Yeah, it's just the beginning of this. So it's pretty concerning of what this represents as a whole, right? Because it's not just about women. It's about where else is this going to go from here? And I think, we usually don't talk politics on this show, but I think it really is a thing about how we ended up this way.
Well, and I think at this juncture it would be irresponsible to not discuss it, because the fact of the matter is, part of the reason they made the decision on how they could, in their conclusion, came up with the decision is revisiting the 14th Amendment, which is the right to privacy, which is how Clarence Thomas now wants to revisit contraception, gay marriage, domestic partnerships, so on and so forth. And now anything that has been discussed or brought forth or made whole at one time in the Supreme Court can now be looked at again.
Which is very interesting, coming from a black man in an interracial marriage.
He did not bring up,
Yeah.
though, Lovey. He did not bring up the case of Lovey.
Isn't that interesting?
What's more interesting is that his wife was part of the January 6th insurrection, and the fact that he was still able to make a decision on anything.
I think his wife is the one that leaked the opinion.
That I've seen that going around on social media. But I think this is where it's all getting very sticky, in the sense that, right, I've seen a lot of chatter on social media now because of protests and things, and people very, very pissed off about this decision. And a lot of Republicans are already saying, oh, well, when people were pissed off about Trump, we weren't called protesters when people went into the Capitol. It was insurrection.
It was insurrection when you went into a federal building.
Well,
and breached a federal building. Nobody's breached the Supreme Court.
I understand that, but you do realize that
I've been on the tour of Congress, and that wasn't the tour.
They are going to now use that against every move that's made to fight this.
I just find it interesting that the Capitol Police were able to be in full riot gear prior to the decision being read for Roe v. Wade. They had enough time to do that and had enough police to do that, but not for January 6th. And people lost their lives. And after that also ended their own lives because of what happened.
I think it's very telling
Mm-hmm.
of the situation. And it's very frightening because it's setting a precedent. You have a lot of people talking about Handmaid's Tale.
But prior to Handmaid's Tale, Black women have been telling us for years that this was going to happen. And I mentioned that in a couple of books that I had mentioned. Octavia Butler wrote The Parable of Sower and The Parable of Talents prior to The Handmaid's Tale, which outlined all of this happening prior to The Handmaid's Tale. But I think that's just the most, I think for a lot of people, it's the most relatable because it was a big screen, I guess, maybe. That's how people understand it.
Well, you look at a lot of books, Fahrenheit 451, flat screen televisions dumbing people so that they're entertained constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many things of what are happening, and it's very scary to think about.
Conditioning.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
where the society's heading. And unfortunately, for every counterbalance, it's not good. None of it's good. It's very frightening. And as a gay dude with adopted children, and working in a foster care system that is absolutely 100% broken, and knowing that nobody cares about the children that are in need now.
Nope.
And now we're going to force more people to have more children that are unwanted. Is pretty concerning because we care about them in a woman's body, but then we don't care about them after they're born. We don't provide health insurance. We don't provide basic food or shelter. Fuck meals at school. And in Texas, perfect example. They had just cut mental health care funding, but they're all crying that, oh, this isn't about guns, it's about mental health care, right? That's their excuse. I definitely agree it is about mental health, but we can't be cutting funding for mental health, and now we're going to force more women to carry their rapist babies. Incest, but we're cutting mental health?
Yeah.
What?
The Impact Project
It's insanity.
put up billboards around the country, and it was like, I'm reading them from my phone. Forced birth in a country where 192 Republicans voted against providing $28 million in aid to address the baby formula shortage, because we can't feed our babies formula. Forced birth in a country where no universal health care, and where a cost of giving birth is anywhere from $4,000 to $15,000. Forced birth, where gun violence is the number one cause of death among children and teenagers. Forced birth, where no universal child care, or where child care costs average are over $14,000 a year. In a country where Black birth givers experience maternal mortality 2 to 3 times higher than those of white birth givers. And only in a wealthy country where a world without any guaranteed paid parental leave at a national level, because none of you guys get parental leave at all. And where more than 400,000 children are in foster care, a significantly higher risk of being abused, neglected, and experience mental and physical abuse and health problems. Because that's the truth of the matter. It's not about the babies, it's about control.
No, we're taking rights away from parents all across the country, and all these states that are banning people from getting just therapy for their children that are trans.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And if they go out of state to get therapy for their child, the punishment's more severe than if you were to rape somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So educate me on this. What is the proposed sentence for a doctor that performs an abortion?
Depending on some states, and most of the states are the 13 trigger states that are there. A lot of them are decisions in which the doctors have to make life and death decisions. One that just came up right after Roe V. Wade was an ectopic pregnancy, and they had given her like 8 liters of blood or some ridiculous amount of blood, which is not any normal process. But he had to consult a lawyer before he could abort her baby.
Okay.
Now, it's an ectopic pregnancy, but
I think it's in Missouri.
yeah, he had
Like,
to.
Could they lose their license to practice in any way, or would it just be fined?
No, it's jail time.
Oh,
It's jail. It's fees and jail time.
I was gonna say, because if it's just fees, maybe they could just be more expensive abortions. I don't know.
I have the quick little story right here. It says, I don't have a platform, so I can't reach people like you can, but please share this. I work on a small NICU IND floor. Our trigger laws went into effect immediately after the decision. We had a woman with an ectopic pregnancy walk in at 11:30 p.m. last night. We had to basically sit on her until the doctor could speak with a lawyer. During this, her ectopic pregnancy ruptured. She then did not get the procedure done for another 9 hours because the doctor was working with the lawyer for so long, trying to work around the laws and not lose his license. By the time she had her procedure, she had over 600 cc's of blood in her abdomen. She almost died.
Mm-hmm. And that's what an atopic pregnancy will do. It will kill.
Atopic. That's how you say it.
Atopic will kill the
Everybody. It'll kill everyone.
Well, there is no viable baby because it's not within the uterine.
It's in the fallopian tube.
It's in the
Okay, so it doesn't even get big enough to be even like visible or anything. It's just
it's not a viable baby. It's just a hormone. Basically, it's a hormonal pregnancy, but it's within the fallopian tube and not within the uterine.
Basically, the egg doesn't go all the way down to the uterus
right.
wall.
Yeah, no, I understand the mechanics of it, but I didn't know if the fetus could grow in there for a while.
Yeah. Well, until it ruptures it.
Till it kills the mother.
It happened to my aunt. She almost died.
Yeah, mine too.
Dr. Apple?
No, I don't know.
Allegedly.
The doctor was. It's all very frightening. And if you're watching and you're in a state where you cannot get care, reach out to us and we'll get you to New York and we'll get you to a place.
Delaware is a safe state.
Oh,
Reach
so
out
New
to
York.
us.
So New York is still good.
Yes.
New York's a safe state. Delaware is a safe state. There are safe places within those trigger states. A lot of creators have. If Arkansas has, if I go in alphabetical order, Arkansas has the Arkansas Abortion Support Network. Idaho has the Northwest Abortion Access Fund. Kentucky has the Kentucky Health Justice Network. Louisiana has the New Orleans Abortion Fund. Mississippi has the Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund. Missouri has the Missouri Abortion Fund. North Dakota has ND Win Abortion Access Fund. Abortion. Oklahoma has the Roe Fund. South Dakota
My
has
glasses are like a mess.
the Justice Through Empowerment Network. Tennessee has the Abortion Care for Tennessee. Texas has the Lilith Fund, and Utah has the Utah Abortion Fund, and all of those are in trigger ban states, 5 of which it's automatically already against the law. The other, do the math, 8 will be illegal by July 31st.
It takes 30 days, right?
Yeah. So those are all places you can go. I have put a list within our private chat on our show notes. I have listed stuff, and I will post everything on our show page too. What people need to realize is a lot of Black and brown women have been doing this work for a very, 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 very long time, because they are typically the marginalized communities that are dealing with this the most. Because let's face it, most, I'm not going to say all, white women have the ability for care more so than a Black and brown population. So I have found a lot of educators, Black educators, a lot of resources through them, and we'll make sure everything is listed for everybody, so everybody has them. So, but Black Women Radicals has a whole list, and the Indigenous Women Rising Network has a whole list.
Right now, I think the call to action is July 3rd through the 5th. Everybody's talking about not shopping, not buying gas, staying home if you can, calling into work if at all possible, and kind of pausing the country. So if you're able to and you can,
When is this?
shop July 3rd through the 5th. No shopping.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. So the kind of the holiday weekend of not spending money, not celebrating the holiday, like staying home, kind of shutting down the country a little bit.
I gotta say, I was very impressed today, because I work in the same sort of parking lot as a Chick-fil-A, and how little traffic Chick-fil-A had. I was quite impressed.
Nice.
How little traffic they had today.
I think it's interesting thing. I've seen a lot of women on my wall that voted for Cheeto Mussolini. And Cheeto Mussolini, yeah, because he's orange. And they were like, and people were like, "Oh, you voted for him," and she was like, "I just never thought this would happen."
He said it was
I can't believe.
happen.
Right.
This
And
happened
it's
in
so funny
2016.
that piece of shit said that that they made the right decision. Meanwhile, he's paid off women that he's had affairs with, cheated on every wife he's had.
Michael
he's the moral compass.
Michael Rappaport.
I love him.
I love
Has
Rappaport.
Yeah, he said
Allegedly.
he's going to pay like $20,000 to any reporter that asks Donald Trump to his face exactly how many abortions he's personally paid for in his life.
Exactly.
Well, I don't pay for them personally. I have staff to do that for me.
Put me in front of him.
I was like, can we get a press pass?
Right. Put me in front of him.
Another
Yeah,
good
he
network.
doesn't know. He just is a pathological liar. I mean,
Yeah, we should probably
allegedly.
ask Michael Cohen.
Another good resource is the Sex Workers Project, because
Hey,
a lot
alright.
of trans folk and children that age out of the foster system end up in sex work because it's the only way they can provide for themselves.
I'm looking into it now, as a matter of fact. It's
Stay off
getting
the
difficult.
streets. So the Sex Workers Project is also another one for abortion and healthcare. So
When oh,
I mean,
Dana.
gas prices, food prices, housing prices. It's all
our
getting
gas prices have gone down. So I don't want to hear about it.
It's expensive, and my paycheck isn't going up. I have to find alternative flows of income.
Sell pictures of your feet. Move on. You're a white man. You can handle it.
We actually pay the least in the world for it.
What about
It
food
is
and
kind of
housing? Everything's expensive.
Actually, we pay the least for food too. To be honest.
Yeah, we did.
Having been a flight attendant for as many years as I was and traveling around the world, trust me.
Right, but
Our inflation is several percentage points less than the rest of the countries as well.
But everything's all at one time. I'm not used to it.
Wow, that is such a first world problem.
Well,
Dana.
it is. Listen, the price increases.
Stop your morning coffee, Dana.
I don't have coffee anymore. I can't drink it because of anxiety.
Uh-oh.
I pay all my bills and then I can't save any money, and it's stinky.
Yeah, it does suck.
All right. What do you think this means going forward? And what's everybody's final thoughts? Because we're
You're getting fidgety. What is it?
You're cutting off.
Yeah. Jeffrey's frozen. I think he's saying that we're going to near the end of the show here pretty soon, so we probably got like 5 minutes where we ought to kind of wrap up our points on or what we would like to discuss for the topic at hand.
I think
Does anybody?
What has to happen is that this is not a time in which we stop moving forward. This is a time in which we need to keep going forward. We need to make sure we're registered to vote. Make sure specifically you're in states. You check vote.org and make sure you're registered to vote. Specifically in states like Georgia. It has the ability every year, every voting cycle, to wipe clean their voting registry. So you may not be registered to vote anymore. They particularly do that with Black voices and Black voters. Hence the reason Stacey Abrams worked so hard to make sure everybody was registered to vote.
I registered as Republican sarcastically.
Well, then you can't go into your
primary.
primary.
Registered as a Canadian. No.
Also, make sure Planned Parenthood gets a lot of money right now. Make sure you are going to more grassroots foundations. If you plan on helping any abortion funds right now, abortionfunds.org will help you. If you are going to a protest, make sure you are smart. Make sure you know your rights. If you do get arrested, keep your mouth shut and ask for a lawyer, because SCOTUS just threw out Miranda rights and lessened all of that as well. The police are allowed to basically do whatever they want to you. Again, if you plan on protesting and you end up arrested, keep your mouth shut, say nothing, and ask for a lawyer. That is all you need to do. Keep yourself safe. That is my take on it. And listen to brown and Black voices, especially women. They've been doing this work for years and years, and there are people with boots on the ground like Michelle Colin in Mississippi who have been keeping women safe and getting these things done safely for women, especially in marginalized areas. These women need to be protected, and they're losing their protection. And they've lost their protection in 5 states. They've absolutely lost their protection, and they're scared. And there are some women that have children at home that now can no longer get the abortion that they were needing to save their life, and may have the possibility of now maybe leaving their children motherless because now it's against the law. Or in my case, where a male gynecologist 21 years ago decided my miscarriage expelled itself enough, and too bad, a DNC is an abortion, and I don't believe in them. You're not getting one. And I was never able to have children after
What's
that.
a DNC?
Unreal.
It's basically they go in and clean everything up and take everything out.
But it's considered an abortion now?
It's considered a medical abortion. If you have a septic uterus, which has nothing to do with pregnancy, it's considered an abortion. I mean, there are things that are considered an abortion that have nothing to do with aborting a baby. And people are not, that is what people want. They hear abort and they just automatically think it's about a child. And that's not what the case is at all. And I cannot stress enough that not only women get pregnant, trans men get pregnant, intersexual people get pregnant. So it is all people with uteruses and hormones that create uterine and eggs. So.
Speaking of eggs, how's the rest of your chickens?
Oh, they're good.
Good. Okay.
They don't even remember Sylvester.
I was going to say rest in peace, Sylvester.
Did you like my doodle? Did you see it?
Yeah, of course I did.
Excellent. I hope it makes a t-shirt for you somehow.
It was good. It was funny.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
Brian.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Jeffrey's froze
Brian.
again.
Text me.
Final thoughts? Final thoughts, Brian?
Wave your phone around in the direction of the cell tower. Brian, what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts?
What are your final thoughts? Well, I don't know. I just think this is just the beginning. And I've been saying this for a long time that they were going to do it, and everybody said, no, that'll never happen. It's super precedent. Like, it matters on numbers. I mean, voting matters, and you have to pay attention for like a while. You can't just pop in and out. People need to really understand what's going on in their lives, or else we're gonna have fucking Gilead. And I'm going to Canada or New Zealand or somewhere.
I gotta say, I'm honestly kind of excited because I really didn't think that the crusty old white people would have the cojones to try and like take away so many of a person's rights. And I really just want to see everything burn. And this is like the perfect little match in the gas pile to get things started. Like, we're just gonna get rid of the government, I feel like, and it's gonna be a good thing.
It's gonna be a wild ride, that's for sure.
I mean, they just like, hey, can we do something horrible? Yeah, I got an idea. Let's do this. Hey, that's horrible for everyone. Like, how is
6 out of the 9 justices just loosened the ability for teachers to lead their students in prayer in schools.
Yeah, I don't even think kids should have to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Like, hey, let's mesmerize these children mindlessly.
Your children are now going to go to school, and if their teachers believe in prayer, they will be saying prayers.
No, they won't.
Sometimes I would say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then sometimes if I hated my teacher, I would do it.
I'm not saying your children will be saying prayers. I'm saying their teachers can lead their students in prayer.
Yeah, that's fine. My kids will say it sarcastically and get in trouble, and I'll give them a high five.
Well, schools are indoctrination warehouses, so.
I mean, remember the textbooks from when we were kids? Like, how much stuff was left out?
They made public schools so that kids could be housed so that their parents could go work 800 hours a week.
Yeah.
It's worked out perfect, I guess.
It really has.
All they have to do is babysit the kids and not beat them up too bad. And
teach them to read and 1 + 1.
Yeah, or whatever. Or if Timmy can't read, we'll just pass him on to 4th. Fuck it, he'll figure it out.
In Texas, they have a pledge to the Texas flag that they say every day before the Pledge of Allegiance.
What in the world is that?
Back to Mexico, please.
And I want to see Muslim and Jewish teachers pray to their students.
I would really like
how fast that stops.
For real.
I want all the Muslim teachers in my kids' school. That sounds great.
You know what's interesting too, on like a totally separate topic, is that Lake Mead, which feeds the Hoover Dam, is almost out of water, which means that the Hoover Dam is not going to work anymore, which supplies electricity for, I think it's 40 to 60 million people. So that should be interesting.
Is that because of Nestle too?
It's not real.
No, it's because of climate change.
Climate
There's no,
change isn't
it's
real,
not good.
man.
Yeah, so well, it should be called.
Say anything like that.
It should. Al Gore should have called it climate destabilization.
Exactly.
I think people would have understood it a little better, but
yeah, we're hitting some serious zigzags.
Probably not.
All right, kids, ready?
Bye.
We're leaving? Oh, we got a few minutes. Did you already hit the button? No, bye.